So we understand that, you know, following, as you were saying, you know, the Lego house has 5 zones, starting from children, then to moving on to adults. So it's always been, we understand it's always been part of the Lego way of thinking to follow the growth of the person. So starting from, as you say, from children to creations for more adult people, right?
Yeah, everything, that whole house is also for our fans, whether they are young or old, any age group, and it's represented in this Lego house. It's a truly amazing experience to go through it. But maybe some other time, Anna and I can invite you up if you're in Denmark.
Oh, that would be amazing. Stefano's already excited. I can see him.
Yeah.
Let's check the flights.
Yeah. But Anna, you tell me when you have to leave. Can we
I'll leave
maybe
in 5 minutes.
So should we take a couple more of the questions about Lego so that Anna can also help here?
Do you maybe want to explain to us, maybe then, if you want to take the opportunity, Diana is here, about the Braille symbols and the way that you help the children with, you know, with disabilities. As you were saying before, you're the project manager. Maybe you can share something about that.
So we want Lego to be for everyone, all children, regardless of their needs, special needs. So my department was set up to cater to this, to look into what kind of Lego-based concepts could we develop that could help these children. So whereas in the rest of the organization, we work a lot in third world countries and we work a lot in crisis settings, this here is in fact, how can you say, the normal educational setting, but often within the specialized branch. So as I said before, blind children, children with autism, ADHD, and we will also be looking into anxiety and depression, stress related issues. It is all Lego concept based, either physical or virtual. So to give you an example, Lego Braille bricks is not our idea. Again, it came from a community. In this case, the blind community. Several different organizations came to us saying that the Lego brick looks like a Braille cell. Now, are you familiar with a Braille cell? It's a 6 dots that you use in different combinations, and the dots have numbers from 1 to 6. And we said yes, we think this is a great idea, but it was a complicated process. We had to make 63 new molds.
Wow.
So it's 2 to the power of 6 combinations minus the blank one. Yeah, you understand, Stefano? Yeah, so 63 new molds is a huge investment. And this is why I'm saying there is no commercial reasoning in this project. It is a huge investment. It's non-for-profit, and these bricks are not going to be sold. They're going to be given through blind educational channels to the children who need it. But we're not, in fact, giving them to the children and the families themselves. We're giving it to the schools and the educational specialists who will be delivering this intervention. So I don't know if you've had a chance to look at the website, legobraillebricks.com. In there are the teaching materials that the teachers must be inspired by when they start using the toolkit. So this is really just a starting point. What we want the teachers to do is hijack this concept and develop it themselves. So we've made what we call a community of practitioners online on a Facebook closed group community, where the teachers are sharing their experiences. And we have 2 Braille consultants who are taking those ideas and then putting it into the template and uploading it to the system. So over time, we will have more and more activities that are generated by the teachers themselves. Now, again, some children who are blind, they of course use their tactile touch to read. Some children like Lego and some do not. So this concept is of course only for the children who love playing with Lego already. So it's not something we are forcing onto the teachers or the children. It's very child-focused educational concept. And it's very much about facilitation. So you will see in the website, we talk a lot about learning through play and our 5 characteristics of play. And this is important to the learning experience. We believe that when the 5 characteristics are in place, the child has a better uptake of the whole learning experience. It doesn't matter what is going on. And again, your questions, you got the right points here, because this is all about inclusion. It's about having a sighted child and a blind child working together. And this is why we've made it with print. So there's the alphabet is on each brick. But this has increased the complexity because we have one mold, one color, but a multitude of letters. So imagine each Braille alphabet is different because of the extra letters in the alphabet. So this means that the master data in this project is huge and very complex. But we wanted to do this in order to allow for this inclusion. So when the kids work together, they can collaborate, communicate, joint problem solve, creative thinking, all these things we want children to do in a very challenging 21st century environment. Anna, are you off?
I'll leave you. Yeah, I didn't want to interrupt you.
No.
It's like, I'm so passionate about it. I was like,
Yeah.
I want to listen.
Yeah.
But yeah, and enjoy the rest of the interview. Stina is great, and I really hope, as I said, I joined like 3 weeks ago, so I'm really looking forward to learn more as well. So enjoy.
Yeah.
And
But
talk to you soon. Nice to meet you.
see you.
Thank you.
So this point about inclusion is what we're trying to do, because we want to develop holistic skills with these children so that they can develop their social and emotional skills. For instance, for an autistic child, they need the social and emotional skills in order to interact with other children. Otherwise, autistic children play on their own. Yeah. And this is a huge challenge. You need to bring them out of their shell and get them to interact with other children. So for over 20 years, there's been another concept called Lego-based therapy, where you use Lego as a therapy medium in order to work with the children. So it's not actually the bricks themselves that are doing anything, but it's the interaction with the bricks and the other children. So, so we're working on a concept that's derived from this idea, but using our philosophy around the play experience and facilitation of it. Because estimates are that there's probably in any given population up to between 3 to 10% are on the autistic spectrum. And that is a lot, so this could have a huge, benefit for a lot of children out there with these problems. But to go back to the Lego Braille bricks, it has gained huge interest and from all sorts of stakeholders around the world. And everyone wants to get it now. But it's not that easy, because we don't just want to sell a toolkit. We want to sell a teaching concept. So for us, it's important to educate the teachers first, train them, and then give them the tool, and then learn from their experiences in order to improve the concept. So it's a very much, how can you say, it's develops over time. Yeah. And we all learn in the process, and will become better. So right now we're launching in 20 countries, but they're all industrialized countries. The challenge will be going to developing countries where the proportion of blind children is much higher, sadly. But this is because of other things like injuries. It can be diabetes. It can be simple eye infections that are not treated. Many different reasons. But often these blind children are either not taught, or if they are taught, they're homeschooled, and only very few of them go to blind schools or mainstream schools. And often they're on their own in a corner doing their own thing. So this tool and concept is very much to try and bring out all these blind children who are cognitively well developed. I mean, there's nothing wrong with their brain. They're just lacking eyesight, and what they need is a tool to teach them Braille. But you can say today with audio instructions and audio sound, do you really need to learn Braille? But the blind organizations tell us it's so important to understand sentence structure, to be able to read between the lines, to be able to formulate sentences and be able to express yourself. And they know for a fact that people who know Braille go on to higher education, and they have a much greater chance of succeeding in life, getting a job and being self-sufficient. Sadly, the statistics in, for instance, Europe is that 75% of blind people are unemployed. Now, if we can help change that, imagine what a socio-economic influence that can have.
Yeah.
So it's really, how can you say, it can have immense effect if we can change this downward curve of people not learning Braille to being able to learn Braille again, because Braille is still the same language or code as it was when it was developed 150 years ago. It's still the same, it still works, and not very many changes have been made. Of course, there's language nuances, but that's the same with any language. But apart from that, yeah, we're excited to see where this can go. To be honest, we don't know yet. We're launching in 20 countries. We hope to add many more in the future. But we have to find a model in developing contexts where we have a partner who can do this for us locally. And this is the challenge, because, for instance, in the countries we're working with now, we have partners within the blind communities, but these organizations are not present in many developing countries. So it's finding the right partners, the right model to get out there and reach the teachers and actually implement this concept. But it's very exciting. We have another interesting product for the blind, Stefano. You must go in and look at audio instructions for the blind.
Okay.
Lego audio instructions. So what we've done is we've taken the ordinary Lego building instructions and we've made them audio. So a blind child can on an iPad follow the instructions and go up and down. So they can go back and forward depending on the steps. Okay. So through audio, they can start building this. Now, we did this together with another Lego fan, a young gentleman from the US called Matthew Schifrin. And he came to us because he had an old lady who transcribed all the Lego building instructions for him into Braille. But it took hours and hours and hours and hours. So what we've done now using artificial intelligence is we have made a code that can translate the building instructions into audio. So going forward, we're going to take all the audio instructions, hopefully all of them, and make them into audio as well, so that it's also accessible for blind people, both children and adults.
Wow, massive project.
It is.
super
sorry,
interesting.
Stefano, do you have any questions to what I've just been saying?
Hai domande da farle in più su quello che hai spiegato un po' sul Braille? Lei un po'...
A me è piaciuto molto, più che altro perché è uno di quei progetti che è in grado di aprire la mente. Questa è la cosa veramente, veramente interessante, non solo per i non vedenti, ma anche alle persone che giocano magari con loro. Penso sono anche i bambini che sono normali e hanno la possibilità di vedere e possono interagire con i loro compagni che non possono vedere. Quella è una cosa che a me ha stupito tantissimo.
He said that he was really surprised and really glad to see the way that, as you well explained now, the way that this system was set up, but it wasn't only set up for the blind children, but it actually helps the interaction with the rest of the children who don't have this disability. So he was really surprised to see how you came about, you know, this idea of making sure that there is an interaction, and that, as you well said, that the children are not left in the corner
Yes.
on their own.
Because
Yeah.
with this toolkit, which is very colorful and interesting and appealing, you make the blind child the popular child.
Yeah.
That child is the one the others want to play with, because you can do these exercises together.
Yeah.
So the teacher, if he or she is good at moderating, will be able to make exercises where they can work together on equal terms. All of a sudden, this becomes a level playing field. The blind child uses touch, and the sighted child uses the print. So if you Google the blind organization who gave us this idea in the first prototype did not have print on it.
Oh.
But in our development process, we said there must be print in order to make it inclusive. And that's why we're using a 2x4 brick model and not the 2x3 brick. So we have the studs at the top, and then at the bottom is a blank space left for the print.
Okay.
Now this means we can take it's limited by space. So I'm right now looking at Braille alphabets around the world to see what can we actually do, because there will be some challenges. For instance, I'm looking at Chinese Braille. Now, to do Chinese characters on Braille is almost impossible.
Wow.
It is a challenge, but I'm getting better at it, at understanding the Braille code, and also, you know, the possibilities, because I'm learning a lot from the blind organizations that I'm working with. So I encourage you to follow our Italian partner. So if you go into the website and Get Bricks, you can see who is our Italian partner. And they are very, very innovative in the way they work with children. They already do many Braille books, and they work using the philosophy of learning through play. So this is something that we've purposely decided to work with them, and I'm sure if you contact them and you want a quote from them, they'll probably be happy to supply that. Just tell them that you've had an interview with me. And another organization in Italy that we work with is Reggio Emilia.
Reggio Emilia, sì.
Yeah. So we work with them. We have many projects with them.
Okay.
With the Lego Foundation. So their whole philosophy of educating children is something that's very dear to our heart. So we have many collaborative projects. So
Great.
yeah, we work a bit in Italy already.
Ok.
Good to know. Good to know. Thank you.
Yeah.